Not all slot machines are created equal. Some are built to pay. Others are built to take everything you've got. And the difference between them is something casinos desperately hope you'll never figure out. I spent 13 years as a casino floor supervisor at major properties in Las Vegas and Atlantic City. My job was to monitor machine performance, track payout data, analyze player behavior, and optimize floor placement for maximum casino revenue. I knew exactly which machines were paying out and which were swallowing money. I knew where we placed the loosest machines and where we hid the tightest ones. And I knew the psychological tricks programmed into every game to keep you playing longer than you should. Every single day, I watched players make the same costly mistakes. Sitting at terrible machines, chasing losses, ignoring obvious warning signs, walking right past the best-paying slots on the floor without even noticing them. You've always suspected there's a method to identify better machines, that casinos use strategic placement, that some versions of popular games pay better than others. You're absolutely right, and the manipulation runs deeper than you think. Before I reveal these 8 secrets, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, smash that like button. Second, subscribe and turn on notifications because this information could save you thousands of dollars. Third, drop a comment telling me your favorite slot machine. Buffalo? Lightning Link? Wheel of Fortune? I want to know what you're playing. These 8 secrets are how you pick slot machines that actually pay. Not guessing, not hoping, not relying on superstition. Real, observable strategies based on how casinos actually operate. Let's start by destroying the biggest myth that costs players more money than anything else. Secret number 1, slot machines don't run hot or cold, and chasing patterns that don't exist is the fastest way to lose everything. This is the most expensive myth in casino gambling, and I need to destroy it with mathematical facts right now. Every modern slot machine operates using a random number generator, an RNG. This is a computer chip that generates billions of number combinations every single second. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The RNG never stops. It's generating combinations right now on every machine in every casino, whether someone is playing or not. Here's what this means. Every spin is completely independent from every other spin. The machine has no memory. It doesn't know it just paid a jackpot. It doesn't know it hasn't paid a bonus in 3 hours. It doesn't care how much money you've fed into it. Every time you press that spin button, you're rolling a 10,000-sided die, and the previous roll has 0 influence on the next one. When someone tells you, "This machine is hot, it's been paying all day," or "This machine is cold, it hasn't hit in hours, so it must be due," they're operating under a fundamental misunderstanding of probability. The RNG doesn't recognize patterns. It doesn't respond to time. It simply executes mathematical algorithms that have no emotional or temporal awareness whatsoever. This myth destroys players financially because they pour money into machines waiting for corrections that aren't coming. They think, "I've put in $500, so it has to pay soon." But the machine doesn't know about your $500. Every spin still has the exact same probability as the first spin. Let me tell you about a player I'll call Derek. Derek was convinced he could identify do machines by watching them. He had this theory that if a Buffalo Gold machine hadn't triggered the bonus feature in 90 minutes, it was mathematically overdue. One Saturday night, I watched Derek on surveillance camp at a Buffalo Gold that had been relatively quiet for about 2 hours. Derek was absolutely certain this was his moment. He sat at that machine for 4.5 hours straight, feeding it $100 bills one after another. I watched him deposit over $7,000 into that single machine. Around 2 in the morning, the bonus finally triggered. Derek won $1,300. He jumped up, celebrated, high-fived strangers, and cashed out feeling like a genius who had cracked the system. But the mathematics told a brutally different story. Derek deposited $7,000 and walked away with $1,300. He lost $5,700 chasing a mathematical illusion that doesn't exist. The RNG didn't reward his patience. It didn't care about his theory. It simply executed its programmed algorithm, completely indifferent to Derek's time, money, or emotional investment. Here's the harsh reality. Machines don't get hot. They don't become cold. They don't become dew. Every single spin is an independent random event, with identical probability to every other spin. Understanding this fact alone will save you thousands of dollars and prevent you from making Derek's catastrophic mistake. Now that you understand every spin is independent, let's talk about the factors that actually matter when picking a machine. RTP and strategic floor placement. Secret number 2. Higher denomination machines have dramatically better RTP, and this is mathematical fact, not casino generosity. RTP stands for return to player. It's the percentage of all money wagered that a machine is programmed to return to players over its lifetime. If a machine has 93% RTP, it means that for every $100 wagered over millions of spins, the machine returns $93 to players. The other $7 is the house edge, the casino's guaranteed profit. Here's the pattern that holds true approximately 90% of the time. The higher the denomination, the higher the RTP. Penny slots, 85% to 88% RTP on average. Nickel slots, 88% to 90%. Quarter slots, 91% to 94%. Dollar slots, 93% to 96%. $5 slots and higher, 95% to 98% or even better. Why does this massive difference exist? Because the casino generates more profit per spin on higher denominations, so they can afford to return more to players while still maximizing revenue per square foot of floor space. Think about it this way. A penny machine might need 2,000 spins to generate $100 in casino profit. A dollar machine generates that same $100 in 100 spins. The casino wins either way, but the dollar player gets significantly better mathematics. Let me show you what this means in actual dollars. You walk into a casino with $300. On a penny slot at 86% RTP, you're losing approximately $14 for every $100 cycled through the machine. On a dollar slot at 95% RTP, you're losing approximately $5 for every $100 cycled. That's nearly 3 times the loss rate on penny slots. Over a 3-hour session, that difference is $60 to $90 leaving your pocket that could have stayed there. But here's the critical warning. You must have the bankroll to support higher denominations. If you only have $100 and you sit at a $5 machine betting $10 per spin, you get 10 spins maximum. That's not a gambling session. That's a lottery ticket. You need at least 150 to 200 spins to give variance time to work and bonuses time to trigger. For most players, the optimal sweet spot is quarters to dollars. If you have $200, play 50 cents to $1 per spin. If you have $400, play $1 to $2 per spin. You get substantially better RTP than penny players while maintaining enough spins to actually enjoy the session and catch potential bonuses. Secret number 3. Machine placement is strategic psychological warfare, and casinos use data-driven floor optimization to maximize profits. This was one of my primary responsibilities as supervisor. We spent countless hours in management meetings analyzing heat maps, traffic patterns, and player density data to optimize machine placement for casino profit. You've probably heard the old myth that casinos place their loosest slots near entrances to attract players with sounds of winning. That was somewhat true in the 1980s. Modern casinos have completely reversed this strategy. Current casino strategy places the tightest machines in high-traffic convenience locations, near main entrances, exits, cashier cages, bathrooms, and primary walkways. The payback percentages in these locations are often 3% to 5% lower than the same games elsewhere on the floor. Why? Because people will play them regardless. You're waiting for your spouse. You're killing time before a restaurant reservation. You're cashing out and decide to play just one more machine on your way out the door. We called these convenience locations because we knew players weren't evaluating options. They were sitting at whatever was immediately available. So we installed the tightest versions of popular games in these spots because we could extract maximum profit with zero resistance. The loosest machines, the ones with the best RTP, are strategically placed at crossroads, high-visibility intersections where maximum numbers of people can witness wins. Center of the main slot floor. Entrance to the high-limit area. Pathways connecting the poker room to the sports book. Near but not inside the restaurant entrances. When someone hits a substantial win at a crossroads machine, dozens or hundreds of people see it happen. They hear the music. They see the celebration. They watch someone winning, and that drives them to play. We weren't being charitable. We were advertising. Those loose machines were loss leaders driving traffic to 50 tighter machines surrounding them. I remember a specific quarterly meeting where our slot director presented data showing that moving 4 of our highest-paying Lightning Link machines to more visible crossroads locations had increased overall slot revenue in that section by 22% within 3 weeks. The 4 loose machines became marketing tools that generated massive revenue from surrounding tighter machines. Another common tactic: when a machine in a premium location started paying significantly above its programmed rate, maybe a Dragon Link that hit 4 major bonuses in 72 hours, we'd flag it in our system. During overnight maintenance windows, usually between 3 and 5 a.m., our technicians would physically relocate that machine to a lower traffic area. We weren't changing any settings. That requires extensive regulatory approval. But we were changing visibility. That hot Dragon Link that had been in a prime center floor spot would suddenly appear near the back restrooms. Same RTP, same programming, but now hidden where fewer players would find it. An Advantage player I knew named Carlos tracked machine locations meticulously. When he noticed a specific hot machine had been moved, he'd hunt it down in its new location. I personally watched Carlos make over $4,000 in 1 month simply by understanding that floor relocations signaled machine performance, not random maintenance decisions. So here's your actionable strategy. Completely avoid convenience locations. Never play machines near entrances, exits, cages, or bathrooms. Scout the entire floor systematically. Look for machines at major crossroads intersections, in secondary, quieter areas with moderate foot traffic, and near but outside the high-limit room entrance. The absolute best-paying machine on the floor might be hiding in plain sight near the back service corridor because that's exactly where we relocated it. Now we enter the territory of psychological manipulation. These are the engineered tactics that keep players in their seats far longer than logic would dictate. Secret number 4. Near misses are programmed psychological weapons designed to keep you playing, and they have zero predictive value. You've experienced this countless times. Jackpot symbols land just above or below the pay line, or bonus symbols appear on 2 of 3 reels, but not the 3rd. These almost wins that aren't wins at all. Here's what you absolutely must understand. Near misses are deliberately programmed into slot machine algorithms. They are not accidents. They are not random occurrences. They are sophisticated psychological tools engineered specifically to manipulate your emotions and keep you gambling. Modern slot machines don't use physical reels to determine outcomes. They use an RNG that selects a result instantaneously when you press the spin button. The reels then spin purely for visual entertainment to display that predetermined result. Everything you see is theater. But game manufacturers design the reel mapping, the specific distribution and positioning of symbols on each reel. to create near misses at frequencies that maximize player engagement. They intentionally place jackpot symbols directly adjacent to payline positions far more frequently than pure mathematical randomness would produce. Why? Because neuroscience research shows that your brain interprets near misses almost identically to actual wins. You think, "I almost hit it. I was so close. One more spin." This triggers dopamine release, the same pleasure neurotransmitter associated with real victories. You experience excitement and anticipation, even though you just lost money. Gaming regulators actually investigated near-miss programming in the 1980s after complaints from gambling addiction counselors. They found it so psychologically manipulative that some commissioners wanted to ban it entirely. But the casino lobby was too powerful. The compromise was requiring that near misses couldn't occur more frequently than the game's underlying mathematics would naturally allow. That sounds protective, but it's meaningless. Manufacturers simply design real maps where near misses are mathematically common within the allowed parameters. It's completely legal, universally implemented, and costing you enormous amounts of money by keeping you playing longer than rational judgment would dictate. Here's the truth that casinos train floor staff never to explain. Every spin is completely independent. That near miss means absolutely nothing about future spins. The machine isn't warming up. You're not getting close. You're not due. The RNG doesn't know or care what just displayed visually. That jackpot symbol that just missed could miss continuously for the next 10,000 spins. When you see near misses clustering, recognize them immediately as engineered manipulation, not as signals that a payout is approaching. Secret number 5. Losses disguised as wins systematically confuse you about whether you're actually winning or losing. This is perhaps the most insidious practice in modern slot design, and the casino industry openly discusses it in trade publications using the term LDW, losses disguised as wins. Here's the mechanism. You bet 75 cents on a spin. The reels stop. Lights flash dramatically. Upbeat music plays. Celebration animations fill the screen. Digital coins pour across the display. You experience the physiological sensation of winning something. You glance at your credit meter. You won 40 cents. Wait, you bet 75 cents and won 40 cents. You just lost 35 cents. But the machine celebrated like you hit a progressive jackpot. Academic studies analyzing modern multi-line slot machines have found that LDWs occur on 35% to 45% of all spins. Nearly half the time, you're losing money while the machine systematically tricks your brain into believing you're experiencing success. Why do casinos implement this? Because behavioral psychology research proves it works with devastating effectiveness. Your brain releases dopamine in response to celebration signals, lights, sounds, animations, not in response to mathematical outcomes. The sensory celebration triggers the same neurological pleasure response as genuine wins, even when you're losing money. This keeps you playing significantly longer. It keeps you thoroughly confused about your actual financial position, and it creates a false perception of success that doesn't match reality. In supervisor review meetings, we analyzed data showing that LDWs increased average session duration by 35% to 42%. That translates directly into 35% to 42% more money extracted from each player. This wasn't accidental. This was deliberate behavioral engineering refined through decades of psychological research and A/B testing. Let me tell you about a player on a Wheel of Fortune machine I monitored for nearly 5 hours one Friday evening. She celebrated constantly, cheering, clapping, doing little dances in her seat. Other players walking past assumed she was having an incredibly lucky session and considered sitting at nearby machines hoping the hot area would pay them too. I had real-time access to her exact machine data. Over 5 hours, she inserted $520. The The machine returned $370. She lost $150. But because of relentless LDW celebrations, the machine making noise and showing animations for wins as small as 30 cents on 75-cent bets, she genuinely believed she was having a great session. When she finally cashed out, she told the cashier with a huge smile that it had been such a fun night. She had zero awareness that she'd just paid $150 for 5 hours of entertainment disguised as winning. The solution requires iron discipline. Completely ignore every machine celebration. Only track your actual credit balance. Set a phone timer for every 20 minutes. When it vibrates, note your exact credit amount. If you're down from your starting point, you're losing, period. No matter how many times the machine played cheerful music and showed you digital coins. Secret number 6. Casino comps are calculated based on your theoretical loss and algorithmically timed to prevent you from leaving when you should. Let me explain how player tracking cards actually function, because this is something we were explicitly trained to deflect detailed questions about. When you insert your card into a machine, the casino's integrated system begins tracking dozens of data points: average bet per spin, spins per hour, session duration, game selection, volatility preference, total coin in, amount wagered, not won or lost. And most critically, it calculates your theo in real time. Theo is industry shorthand for theoretical loss. It's a sophisticated mathematical prediction of exactly how much money the casino expects you to lose based on your specific play pattern combined with that specific machine's RTP. For example, you're betting $3 per spin on a machine with 91% RTP, averaging 450 spins per hour. The system calculates you're theoretically losing approximately $122 per hour. That's your theo. Casino comps, free meals, hotel rooms, show tickets, free play credits, are calculated as a percentage of your theo, typically ranging from 25% to 40% depending on your player tier. Not based on how much you actually lost, not based on casino generosity or appreciation, based purely on expected theoretical losses. But here's where the manipulation becomes truly sophisticated. The tracking system monitors behavioral patterns indicating you're about to quit, decreasing play rate, reducing bet amounts, longer pauses between spins, looking around the casino, checking your phone, standing up briefly, then sitting back down. When these behavioral indicators trigger algorithmic thresholds, the system automatically generates targeted comp offers calculated to keep you playing. This happens without any human intervention. You've been playing for 2 hours. You're down $200. You're tired, frustrated, and genuinely thinking about cashing out and going home. Precisely at that moment, a floor attendant appears, seemingly out of nowhere, with a voucher for a complimentary buffet dinner. Or your card reader suddenly displays an offer. Congratulations! You've earned $60 in free play. Claim now at any slot machine. This is not coincidence. This is not good timing. This is algorithmic behavioral intervention calculated to the minute. And here's the casino's calculation behind that comp. Statistical analysis shows that giving you a $30 buffet comp has a 78% probability of keeping you gambling for at least 90 additional minutes, during which time you'll theoretically lose another $180. That's a 500% return on the comp investment. In monthly executive meetings, we reviewed detailed comp effectiveness analytics. Free play was most effective because it literally forced you to return to machines and keep playing. Room comps were second most effective because they kept you on property overnight, creating multiple additional gambling sessions. Let me tell you about a regular player named Brian. Brian played dollar slots consistently. One Tuesday evening, Brian was down approximately $400 over 3 hours and displaying clear frustration signals, sighing heavily, shaking his head, playing progressively slower. Our system triggered an intervention. Complimentary dinner for two at our premium steakhouse, valued at $110. Brian accepted enthusiastically. He and his girlfriend had dinner, relaxed for 90 minutes, and Brian's mood visibly improved. After dinner, Brian returned to the slot floor just to play a little more with that good meal in my stomach. Over the next 2 hours and 15 minutes, Brian lost an additional $530. The casino invested $110 in food cost and extracted $530 in additional losses. Brian left believing the casino had treated him exceptionally well. The correct response when you receive any comp offer: immediately cash out and either leave the casino or take a substantial break of at least 2 hours. That comp is not a reward. It's a retention tool calculated to extract more money from you. Now that you understand the psychological manipulation, let's discuss the only two strategies that genuinely protect you: bankroll management and exit discipline. Secret number 7. Bankroll management using the 1% rule is your only mathematical defense against inevitable casino edge. The vast majority of players enter casinos with absolutely no financial strategy. They bring whatever money they can afford to lose and play until it's completely gone or until they hit something substantial. This approach is mathematically optimal for the casino and financially catastrophic for the player. If you're going to gamble, and I'm not recommending you do, you must follow this rule with religious discipline. Never wager more than 1% of your total bankroll on any single spin. If you bring $400, your absolute maximum bet per spin is $4. Not 5, not 6, 4. This rule exists to protect you from variance, the inherent statistical fluctuations present in all gambling. Slot machines are extremely volatile. You can easily experience 50 to 70 consecutive losing spins without any significant return. If you're betting 5% or 10% of your bankroll per spin, a perfectly normal streak of bad variance will completely destroy you financially. You'll have no buffer, no opportunity to recover. But if you're betting 1%, you have 100 spins of cushion before theoretical complete loss. That buffer gives you adequate time to potentially trigger bonuses or catch winning streaks that can recover earlier losses. Additionally, you must establish two absolutely inviolable limits before you begin playing: a loss limit and a win limit. Your loss limit is the maximum amount you're willing to lose in a single session. Perhaps it's 30% of your total bankroll. When you've lost that predetermined amount, you immediately stand up and leave. No exceptions, no rationalizations, no just one more spin. You walk away from the machine and exit the casino. Your win limit is psychologically more difficult, but equally critical. If you decide that winning 40% of your bankroll triggers automatic exit, then when you've won that amount, you cash out immediately and leave. Most players utterly fail at enforcing win limits. They win, experience euphoria, and think, "I'm running hot. The machine is paying. I should definitely keep playing." They continue until they've methodically returned every dollar to the casino plus their original bankroll. I witnessed this pattern literally thousands of times during my tenure. Let me tell you about a player named Stephanie. Stephanie arrived with $600 and established intelligent limits before playing. She'd leave if she lost $200 or won $250. Excellent plan, demonstrating genuine understanding. Stephanie began playing Buffalo Grand. Within 1 hour, she was up $280. She had clearly exceeded her predetermined win limit. The mathematically correct decision was immediate cash out and exit. But instead, she rationalized, "The machine is obviously paying right now. I'm hitting bonuses. I should absolutely keep playing while I'm hot." 2.5 hours later, I watched Stephanie lose her entire $600 plus an additional $350 she withdrew from the ATM, all because she failed to enforce her own predetermined limit when it mattered most. The limit itself wasn't the problem. Her complete lack of discipline to enforce that limit was everything. This pattern repeats endlessly. Players set intelligent limits, but utterly fail to respect them when the critical moment arrives. The limit is worthless if you don't enforce it. Secret number 8. The hit-and-run strategy is your only realistic path to leaving ahead, and time is your greatest enemy. Here's the most brutal mathematical truth about casino gambling. The longer you stay, the more certain it becomes that you'll lose everything. This isn't opinion. This isn't negativity. This is irrefutable mathematics. The RTP is always against you. Variance eventually normalizes. Statistical regression to the mean is mathematically inevitable. The house edge grinds you down systematically. Over sufficient time, the casino always wins. Always. The only strategy with any realistic probability of success is hit and run. Enter the casino with a specific plan. Play for a strictly limited time period, and immediately leave when you hit either your win limit or your loss limit, whichever occurs first. No exceptions. The tiny minority of players I witnessed who consistently left ahead over multiple visits shared one critical trait: time discipline. They played for 1 to 2 hours maximum, then left regardless of whether they were winning or losing. Why? Because they understood that every additional minute on the casino floor is another minute exposed to mathematical house edge. They respected variance. They understood that lucky streaks can evaporate in minutes. The casino, conversely, wants you staying as long as humanly possible. Every hour you remain exponentially increases the probability that you'll lose everything. That's precisely why casinos have no windows, no visible clocks, offer complimentary alcohol, and create comfortable temperature-controlled environments. They want you losing track of time. They want you entering a dissociative trance state, playing mechanically for hours. I once knew a professional gambler, and these are exceptionally rare, named Raymond. Raymond didn't play slots for entertainment or excitement. He played with pure mathematical intention and iron discipline. Raymond had an absolutely rigid system. Enter the casino. Proceed directly to specific high-denomination machines with verified favorable RTP. Play exactly 400 spins regardless of results. Leave immediately after spin 400. If he doubled his money in 200 spins, he completed all 400 spins then left. If he lost 60% of his bankroll in 300 spins, he completed all 400 spins then left. Zero emotion. Zero deviation. Absolute robotic discipline. Over 18 months, Raymond was approximately 6% ahead of his total investment. Not dramatically profitable, but genuinely ahead, which is virtually unheard of for slot players. How? Absolute discipline regarding time limits, combined with selective machine choice and superior RTP. Raymond never stayed longer than 90 minutes in any casino. Never. He understood that time was the real enemy, not luck. Most players don't possess 5% of Raymond's discipline. They enter casinos just to have some fun and leave 6 hours later emotionally exhausted, financially devastated, and confused about what happened. If you're going to play slots, set a phone alarm for 60 minutes. When that alarm sounds, you finish your current spin, cash out immediately, and walk directly to your car. It doesn't matter if you're winning. It doesn't matter if you're losing. You leave. Because the only genuine victory in a casino is leaving before the mathematics inevitably catches up to you. And the mathematics always catches up. Always. Let's recap the 8 secrets that show you how to pick slot machines that actually pay. 1. Machines don't run hot or cold. Every spin is independent. Chasing patterns costs you thousands. The RNG has no memory. 2. Higher denomination machines offer dramatically better RTP. Dollars beat quarters, beat pennies mathematically. Play the highest denomination your bankroll supports. 3. Machine location is psychological warfare. Avoid convenience locations completely. Seek crossroads placements and secondary quiet areas. 4. Near misses are programmed manipulation. They predict nothing. They mean nothing. Recognize them as psychological tools designed to keep you playing. 5. Losses disguised as wins systematically confuse you. Ignore all celebrations. Track only your actual credit balance. 6. Comps are timed traps based on your theoretical loss. When you receive a comp, immediately cash out. It's a retention tool, not a reward. 7. Bankroll management using the 1% rule protects you from variance. Set loss and win limits. Enforce them without exception or rationalization. 8. Hit and run is your only realistic winning strategy. Time is your enemy. Set strict time limits and leave when they expire, regardless of results. Here's the ultimate truth that few people will tell you honestly. You cannot beat slot machines long-term. The house edge is real, permanent, and mathematically guaranteed. Over sufficient time, you will lose. But within that harsh mathematical reality, there are dramatically smarter ways to play and catastrophically stupid ways to play. These 8 secrets put you on the intelligent side of that divide. They don't guarantee you'll win. Nothing can guarantee that. But they give you the absolute best possible probability of identifying favorable machines, avoiding the worst psychological traps, and leaving with something in your pocket instead of total devastation. Knowledge is genuinely your only real edge in a casino. Casinos profit enormously from information asymmetry. They know everything about their machines, their mathematics, their psychological manipulation tactics. You know virtually nothing. These 8 secrets substantially balance that information gap in your favor. If you found this valuable, I need you to do 3 things immediately. First, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. I'm going to continue exposing casino industry secrets that operators desperately wish remained hidden. They're going to pressure YouTube to remove this content, so subscribe now to ensure you don't miss future revelations. Second, share this video. Send it to anyone you know who plays slots. Post it in gambling forums. Share it on social media. The more players who understand these 8 secrets, the less effective the casino's manipulation becomes. Third, watch this video right here, where I reveal the 5 specific slot machine manufacturers that build the loosest games, and which casino properties actually install those favorable versions on their floors. Before you close this video, the mandatory but absolutely critical legal disclaimer. If you or someone you know is struggling with gambling addiction, please seek professional help immediately. Contact the National Council on Problem Gambling at 1-800-522-4700. Available 24 hours daily, 7 days weekly. This video is purely educational. I am not encouraging anyone to gamble. I'm educating people who already gamble about how the industry actually operates and how to minimize financial damage while gambling. Slots should be treated as entertainment expense, never as income opportunity or investment strategy. The house always has mathematical edge. You're paying for entertainment. If you walk into a casino expecting to make money, you fundamentally misunderstand probability theory. You're not investing. You're not working. You're purchasing entertainment, and you should expect that entertainment to cost money. But with these 8 secrets, you can substantially minimize that cost, identify the least terrible options on the floor, avoid the worst psychological manipulation, and occasionally, not reliably, but occasionally, walk out ahead. The 8 secrets are yours now. Use them intelligently. Scout before playing. Check denominations and locations. Recognize psychological manipulation for what it is. Set limits and enforce them with discipline. Use time limits religiously. The casino is mathematically designed to win, but now you're armed with information they'd strongly prefer you didn't possess. Play smart, maintain discipline, And above all, remember, knowledge is your only edge, and time is your greatest enemy. Good luck out there.